What's up, guys? Welcome to Whiskey. My name's Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe now below. And with that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the Kingsbarns Dream to Dram. Stick around. Okay, so we're looking at a new whiskey today. We've got a Kingsbarns with us. Kingsbarns is a Lowland distillery. They're owned by Weems, who are better known for their blended malts. The distillery was built in 2014, started distilling in 2015. This one is called Dream to Dram. This is their first core range release, I think, and buying whiskeys like this are always fun just because I have no bearings here. I have no history with this whiskey. I have no context. So good or bad, it's going to be a totally new experience, which is exciting. New distilleries are exciting. And here's the thing, it's so easy to get very cynical when you're talking about whiskey. You can talk about prices and corporate greed and poor presentation, all that stuff. But on the whole, I do think whiskey's headed in a good direction. Not prices. Prices suck. They're probably going to continue to suck. But when it comes to quality and when it comes to presentation, there's so many new distilleries that are just killing it. When you look at stuff like Ardnamurchan or Lochlee or Raasay or Toravaig, these are new distilleries. They have something to prove, so we can expect natural presentation and a decent ABV from everything they put out, which is great. That means there's hope for the future. There's hope for the children. Future children are going to drink great whiskey. Anyway, yeah, new distillery. That's exciting for me, even though this bottle has gotten a lukewarm reception from a lot of people. If you go on stuff like Whiskey Base, you'll find it has a weighted score of about 81, which is okay, but it's not great. And there's a lot of people online saying it's too young, it's too hot. So of course that does give me pause. But about a year back, my buddy Shane over at the Whiskey Log channel gave this a very good review, and that's been kind of at the back of my mind ever since. I trust his opinion. He's got a great channel. I'll link it down below. So I was very curious to try this. In terms of production, we've got first fill bourbon as well as shaved, toasted, and recharred Portuguese red wine barrique casks in the mix. The bottle says this stuff is made from Fife barley, so presumably we can expect a certain fifiness to it. Dumb joke. And that's about it. Really, this is a bottle that could go either way for me. Let's jump into the review and find out where I land on it. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. As I said earlier, new distilleries are not going to sell us short on specs. We've got 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, and natural color. For presentation, I do think this is kind of a cool bottle. It's definitely different. There's no other whiskey bottle that looks like this. I like the color scheme. I like the gold accents. I like the look of the label, the look of the bottle. It doesn't elicit a huge reaction from me, but it's good. We'll give it 3.5 out of 5. It does say non-chill filtered and natural color on the label, but I almost missed it because it's on the neck label towards the top. It tells us what casks were used in the maturation. We have a blurb on the back introducing the distillery. It's not annoying or pretentious, and it's totally fair to have that. It is a new brand. Everything looks good. Our nose is sharp and prickly. We have a beautiful barley sweetness here. Barley sugar, there's ginger, there's like cereal notes, Weetabix, there's vanilla, green apple, pears, and banana. This is young and zesty. The palate and finish give us a nice oily texture. We have a very sweet drying maltiness to this. We get stuff like barley, hay, honey, vanilla, grain. We get more fruitiness, again with that green apple and that banana. We also have pears, citrus, ginger, and chamomile tea in here. It's not too complex and there is a bite to it, but I like it. Medium finish. So I really wasn't sure what to expect here. Like I said, it was recommended to me by some people that I trust, but the reviews are just kind of so-so. So I was cautiously optimistic going in, and I really like this. This is exactly the kind of whiskey that I really enjoy drinking these days, but right out the gate, I'll say that this is not going to be for everyone. There is a sharpness here that a lot of people will not get behind, and I understand that. It is a young whiskey. I don't think it's too young, but a lot of people will. For me, it's right in the sweet spot. Now, the profile is, of course, different, but I would liken this to something like the Classic Laddie. The go-to criticism for the Classic Laddie is that it's young, it's hot, it's sharp. Now, it is a young whiskey, but I don't think it's too young. I don't think it's hot, and it is sharp, but I like that about it. Like, I love it just the way it is. We're dating, by the way. But yeah, I got a lot of slack for naming the Classic Laddie my whiskey of the year last year, but there were also quite a few people who were big fans of the Classic Laddie who thought, yeah, that's a good call. It is a great whiskey. Those are the people who I would recommend try out Kingsbarns. In his review, Whiskey Lock described this as having a laser sharp maltiness, which I love. I think that's right on the money. It's very malty. We do have a beautiful sharpness to this. This whiskey is fresh, it's bright, it's vibrant, it's alive. It has that sunny, summery charm. Is it young? Yes. Is it hot and alcoholic? For me, no, but I see where that's coming from. I don't get that papery, cardboardy, new make spirit type flavor that I get in whiskeys that I consider to be too young. A good example of that would be Clydeside, which is another new distillery, and I think they have a lot of potential, but the last time I tried their stuff, I did find it too young. I don't get that here. What I do get is a very nice bite that I wouldn't say is from alcohol. I mean, I guess it literally is, but for me it's more just like a prickliness that I pull out of the tasting notes, because we have some prickly notes in here. We have grain, we have green apple, we have ginger, we have citrus, and for me that's where that really nice bite comes from. So for me this stuff really works. Again, it's fresh, it's bright, it's clean. I really love that. What I love here is also that it's characterful. You can have a bright, fresh, clean whiskey that's also kind of on the generic side that doesn't really have its own character. This is not that. Like the Classic Laddie, this is loaded with character. Again, that laser sharp maltiness. Thing is, I think I'm quite lucky because just by coincidence, these happen to be the kinds of whiskeys that I really enjoy these days. You know, that would be the well-made, craft, youngish, entry-level whiskeys, which are not too expensive. And that comes at a time when everything with an age statement is just skyrocketing in price. So it is really nice to be able to turn to something like this where it's not too expensive, it's accessible, it's widely available, and it's just something that for me I can reach for very often. This is a very reachable, it's a very Moorish whiskey for me. Score here is going to be 87. I think it's got a great character. Kingsbarns is now for me a brand to watch out for. But once again, I do want to reiterate, this is not a whiskey with very broad appeal. Like the Classic Laddie, I think it will be a little bit divisive. You know, sometimes when I make recommendations or I give a whiskey a high score or a good score, I'm like, okay, yeah, this will fly for a lot of people. I'm not sure that this one will, so make sure that the description sounds interesting to you. Because I don't want to recommend this to people who are sensitive to sharpness or spiritiness. We are getting a lot of that in this whiskey. Again, for me it works, but it might not for you. And with all that covered, let's jump into value. I definitely think we've got good value here. This one is at the higher end of entry-level pricing here in my market, and I'm fine with that. I think the quality is there. Again, this is a whiskey I keep coming back to, and because it's relatively affordable, I don't have to feel too guilty about it, so it's worth the money for sure. And that is it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, I do have the Patreon. Otherwise, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Always appreciated. And of course, I do want to hear from you. Have you guys tried Kingsbarns? What were your thoughts? Let me know down below. And finally, down below in the comments, you can also let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.